Welcome to the Addicted to DVC podcast, a deep dive into all things Disney Vacation Club. We share tips, tricks, and insider info, helping you make the most of your membership. Join us for the latest news, reviews, and interviews with DVC experts and enthusiasts. Whether you're a seasoned DVC member or considering your first contract, this podcast is for you. Now, here are your hosts, Mike Hurley and Gary Arruda.
Welcome to the Addicted to DVC podcast with Mike and Gary. This is episode 31, recorded in the DeFont Leroy recording studios in Sarasota, Florida, and Cranston, Rhode Island. I'm your host, Mike in Florida, joined by my cousin and co-host Gary up in Rhode Island. Good evening, Gary.
What's going on, Parts?
Not much, buddy.
How are you?
Oh, I'm doing all right.
Yeah. Anything new in your neck of the woods?
Not much.
No.
I was laughing when I edited the show last week when your computer froze up and then I started swearing. I was going to leave some of that in, but I took it out. I go, oh, no, I got to F and edit this.
Yeah. I do remember that. Was that this show or was that WDW?
I think it may. I'm not sure. It may have been this one. Because, it was the first one we did.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw a big gap. I'm like, yep, this is it.
Here we are. And you found it.
Like, your head's frozen. I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why that keeps happening. But
yeah, the best recording we had was when you were in the Lou Merloni studios in Framingham.
Yeah, that's true. This is still the best. But when we were doing it on, like, what was it, Google Meetup or something, that was the worst.
Yeah. And when I had that cheap Chaska.net.
I don't even want to think about that.
And that headset that cost like $7 that I got at like Office Depot. Looked like the old compact Presario operator.
Yeah, you were like the tech support guy. This is Data Link. This is Mike.
Oh, Bill Harner.
William E. Harner.
Do you ever get paid at your work?
No, I don't. But yeah. Anyway, we got a lot to get to this week, don't we?
Yeah, we've got some stuff to talk about this week. There always seems to be a lot of news surrounding DVC. Have you noticed that?
Well, this time of year, especially, it seems like changes come through, the dues are all coming in and everything like that. Speaking of, I think confirmed now that the February 15th date has passed, you can no longer pay with the gift cards for your dues.
What?
No. Like, if you hadn't already paid them for the year, you can't pay month by month with gift cards like you could in the past.
Oh, yeah. No, I paid mine all up front because I don't think that you were able to do the month. You had to set up a bank account.
Right, which I have.
Which you have, but then I used to be able to just go in every month and pay the day before it was due with a gift card.
Right, that changed this year, and that's what we thought was going to happen, but it wasn't super clear with the wording they had, so I was kind of waiting to see. And now I've seen some reports of people trying to unenroll from auto pay and pay it with their gift cards, and you no longer
and they can't do it.
You cannot do it anymore. So basically, if you want to do gift cards, you got to save them up or buy them all at once like you did.
Yeah.
And pay it off and save your 5 or 10%, whatever it ends up being.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you just or you can pay them all at once, however you like, or do the monthly. But it has to be out of a bank account. You can't do monthly on a credit card anymore either.
Which is too bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's fine. It's nice that you could do it monthly, spread out the pain a little bit. But it was really nice when you could just pick up a gift card for 5% off once a month and pay it that way.
We have another bad connection. You keep freezing up and I hear staticky out of your microphone.
Oh. It's perfect on my end. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just saying that you don't sound good on my end.
All right, well, let's move forward.
We'll just trudge through this, Pards.
Yes. Outside of that, we both got a message from friend and listener Ken Cabot about right of first
Yes.
refusal.
They're buying contracts now.
Speaking of news, so in January, there was a lot of right of first refusal taken back by Disney. It looks like Animal Kingdom is on the radar.
Yep.
Old Key West, Grand Floridian, Grand Californian in January, which hadn't been bought back in a year at all, and the Polynesian. According to this chart, so they started buying back Animal Kingdom. It looks like
Why is that?
maybe they're going to do an incentive. Maybe they're going to. People are requesting it. I'm not sure. Or there's just a lot of contracts out there, so just nabbing a few to keep the resale high. Same with like Grand Floridian.
Yeah.
I mean, 131. It looked like it got bought back. That's pretty low for the Grand Floridian.
Yeah, you have to buy that back at that price point. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot. It's starting to edge up a little bit on that. So realize that if you're putting in an offer and the price seems to be too good to be true, it just might be, because they're starting to buy some back.
Who would have even recommended to sell it that low?
It's not that low, although the Animal Kingdom ones aren't that low.
No,
I mean,
Grand Floridian in 130. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you go at 150 and you try to get an offer, I guess, right? Even 150 is pretty low.
150 is very low. Yeah.
I guess if you just need to get out of it and you know Disney's gonna buy it back or someone's gonna buy it, you get your money a lot quicker if you go in at a really low price.
Yeah.
If you're in a bad spot, I don't know. It is crazy, but if you're in that bad of a spot, you should just rent.
Yeah. Do something.
Rent out what you have and then sell a stripped contract back or something.
Try to stay afloat, but 130 is low. 135, whatever.
Yeah. I thought that was interesting. And then, in addition to the right of first refusal starting to pick up some steam, Disney raised their direct prices on a lot of the resorts.
Yeah, quite significant too. I know that they raised the Grand Floridian by like $30, I believe.
Yeah, 35.
35?
Yes. So Copper Creek went from 250 to 255. Animal Kingdom went from 210 to 215, so $5 for both of those. Old Key West went from 205 to 215, $10 more. Saratoga Springs from 205 to 215, $10 more. The villas at Disney's Grand California went from 310 to 330. It's a $20 increase.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Grand Floridian from 230 to 265. Those are all technically sold out resorts.
Correct.
But obviously they could still sell them. The actively selling resorts also increased. The Polynesian went from 225 to 235. Same for Riviera. Same for the cabins at Fort Wilderness. All went up $10. And Alani as well, 225 to 235. So they all went up the same to 235. And the villas at Disneyland Hotel went up $6 from 239 to 245. It's just interesting that they went up, and especially the ones that are struggling to sell. You think they'd maybe bring them down a little bit? I mean, Aulani's been for sale for how long? 10 years now?
Yeah, they're never going to send it. They don't care, though, because they make so much in cash on that. They don't care if that thing sells out.
Yeah, so I guess to keep it in line with everything else.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not a big deal, really, in the grand scheme of things, a $10 difference, but it's going up and up. And I don't know, how are the sales at the Poly with the new tower? That obviously must have increased sales, at least in the short term when they introduced it, as people are
Yeah, I think
excited to
that's
buy
selling
on.
well, and I think Riviera is selling pretty well. It's just the Fort Wilderness that's just they can't sell
Really
those.
killing
They
them.
can't give
Yeah.
those things away.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. At the same time, they also talked about some new incentives. So at the if you are adding on at Fort Wilderness at the cabins, you can save anywhere from $16 to $29 per point, depending on how many points you buy. Between 100 and 124, you save $16 per point, all the way up to $29 per point if you buy 250 or more. The villas at Disneyland, you can
Mhm.
save anywhere from $20 to $27, depending on how many points you buy. Riviera, the same. You can save $10 to $29. So if you buy over 250 points at Riviera, you can save $29 per point. If you buy 100 to 124, you're saving 10. Actually, up to 150, you're saving 10. 125 to 149 is also $10. And it jumps up to 14, 24, and the max is 29. Alani, you can save up to 31 per point if you buy over 250, between $12 and 31 savings. And then at the Polynesian, the savings start at $8 per point and max out at $13 per point. So they're definitely not incentivizing the Polynesian quite as much because it's
Which they
selling
don't need
so
to,
well.
really.
Yeah. There's also incentives for new members, which are essentially the same, except they start at 150 because that's the minimum they want you buying in at
In
to
order to
get
get
these
your
incentives.
blue card
Yeah.
goodies.
What's that?
In order to get your blue card goodies, the 150.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And the highest discount starts at 300 points if you are a new member.
Are they
So
still allowing you to buy in at 100, or is 150 now? Because for a while there, the minimum was 100. You just weren't going to get your blue card.
it looks like you could still buy in at 100 because at the cabins you actually do save $12 per point buying
Okay,
in at 100.
that would
So
be
you
crazy,
still
wouldn't it?
to buy 100 points and not get the blue card direct
Yeah.
for your first time. Yeah,
Yes.
it doesn't make a lot of sense. Like I could see adding on 100 points direct if that's how you want it to go for the ease of it.
Yeah, because you can go in as low as 50. I could totally see buying 50.
Yeah, but to go in brand new, you might as well get
Yeah.
the other 50 points and get
Right.
the real benefits from it. Unless you're planning on breaking it up over multiple purchases, because you can combine to get to that
Right.
150.
To get to that 150, you are correct.
So there's reasons that everybody does it. Some
Yeah.
people don't know.
A
They're not
lot of people
informed.
don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you are a proponent of direct more than a lot of people, I would say.
You'd be surprised. You'd
Well,
be
I'm just saying.
surprised. I'm a proponent more for resale than a lot of people. Everybody I talk to is direct people. I mean, when I was on this DVC cruise, everybody was direct. Everybody's second, third, fourth contracts were direct. Not many people know about resale.
I guess that was. I guess I should rephrase it. You were more of a proponent of direct because you like the benefits from the blue card.
I did, and because our
Personally.
first contract was Grand Floridian, and we still, at the end of the day, it still only costed us $3,600 to buy it direct at that time. Because with the incentives, we got it for $197, and they were going for the
Right.
170s. So for $3,600, it's a no brainer to get the blue card.
benefits for you
That's my
guys.
opinion. Yeah.
Right. And I'm just saying, there's probably people that go in and they don't even know about the benefits. They don't know a lot of the stuff, and they say, "Well, we want 100 points. That's what we can afford." And then they end up
Yeah, you're right.
getting the worst of both. Like you're paying the extra cost for the direct, and you're not getting the benefits.
Or they're buying Alani direct when they can pick that up in the 90s on the resale market.
Right. Exactly. Now, the direct benefits are different than the blue card. So if you buy direct, even at a smaller amount, and you don't have the blue card, you could still book
At
Riviera.
Riviera. Yes.
And okay, I was 99% sure, but I just wanted to put that out
Yes,
there
that
as
is
well.
correct.
That would be wild to imagine that. Like, oh, sorry,
Yeah, I
can't
know.
even do that.
Yeah, it's just a resale contract at that point.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't make any sense. And then, did you have any other thoughts on the increases or the incentives? I mean,
No, I
they
can't
go up
believe
generally, right?
Yeah, they go up all the time, but Grand Floridian, I think that's pretty high, 265.
It's in demand. They must be people asking all the
There
time
are,
for it.
that is their flagship. That's what everybody wants.
So my guess is they're making it so high or higher that they're trying to push people away from it.
Into buying other legacy resorts. You're exactly right.
Yeah, because it's at some point they're just going to raise the price enough where people are going to say, forget it. That's kind of what the Grand Cal has been as well. The price is so high because they can't. It's sold out, and they don't have any points.
So few rooms.
Yeah,
they have limited amount of points, limited amount of contracts. That is just a very difficult contract. And I'm still kicking myself for not buying that 30-pointer that I saw a year ago.
While you were there.
It was while I was there.
That would
That's
have
a
been
nice
perfect.
contract. Yeah, I know. Could have gone every other year, every 3 years. Perfect.
The thing is, though, think about it this way. If you had bought that 30-pointer, you probably wouldn't have pulled the trigger on the 150 Riviera.
There could be some truth in that.
Because that would have been a really tough sell.
Yeah.
That would have been a very difficult sell.
I mean, we keep screwing around on this website and keep looking at contracts, and I still don't need it. I do not need anything, but I still look all the frickin' time. It's so sick, isn't it?
That website is maybe the most dangerous website. I mean, that could cause more marital strife than like Pornhub. That website.
Oh, it's way worse. It's way worse. It's like being able to have your drugs mail delivered. Like, you're taking out the risk of having to go to a park and getting arrested. I mean, you're getting that thing in a manila.
It's not even delivered. It's they're emailing you saying,
Yeah,
hey, by the way, I got
saying.
some drugs really cheap for you. You need any? You're like, I wasn't thinking about it. Now I am.
Yeah, that website's so bad. It's just so easy to use.
Oh, I know. It's dangerous.
You can just search by 5-star, 4-star, you name it. It's just, oh. Like, when you equated it to porn, whatever this site is, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've gone under the blankets with my phone looking at resale contracts. You know, you dim the light on your phone, hoping to.
What are you looking at? Nothing.
No, nothing. All right, fine. There's a great deal at Boardwalk.
It's in our use year. Now, you also said they announced the next quarterly condo association meeting?
Yeah, the next the meetings, I believe, are on March 5th.
Oh. Is that as we talk, I just got an email from DVC for less.
Oh, did you?
50-pointer at Saratoga. Nope, that's not a good one. I don't need that one. Anyway, March 5th. And this is like individual associations, or is this the whole?
Yeah, this is the individual ones. This is just their quarterly meetings. And this quarter it is at Boardwalk.
Oh.
And their convention center is, if you're pulling in you go past the guard shack, it's going to be on the right.
Okay.
Right-hand side, instead of going to the left where the general parking is. They do have parking over there, but the convention center, it's not connected to the resort, but it's just past where the bus station is.
Oh, okay.
So that's where the meetings are going to be. We have 9 a.m. We have Copper Creek Villas and Cabins. 9:45 is Boulder Ridge Villas. 10:30 is Disney's Riviera Resort. 11:15 is Disney's Polynesian Villas and Bungalows. Noon, we have Disney's Beach Club Villas. At 1:15, and giving a little bit of break for lunch. 1:15, Disney's Boardwalk Villas. 2 o'clock, Disney, the villas at Disney's Grand Floridian Resort. 2:45, Disney's Animal Kingdom Villas. 3:30, we have Bay Lake Tower at Disney's Contemporary Resort. 4:15, we have Disney's Vero Beach. So they're lumping Vero Beach in with the local
With the Florida
association.
ones. Yeah.
Yeah, the Florida ones.
Well, you also said the villas at Disneyland, right? Wasn't that one of them?
No, that was the villas at Disney's Grand Floridian.
Oh, I misheard you. I apologize.
Then at 5 o'clock, we have Disney's Old Key West Resort. And at 5:45, we have you in at Quat Joe, Disney's Saratoga Springs Resort.
That's a long day.
That is a long day. I like it how they have it all in one day because for the big meeting in December, Riviera was one day, Grand Floridian was the next day. So,
and then the general meeting was another day, wasn't it? Or that was the same?
Yeah, it was a second day. So they had this spread out over 2 days.
And this is one where you are only supposed to go if you own at that resort. Like you couldn't just sit there all day. I mean, you probably would sit there all day. Very nerdy.
I would, yeah, especially for the show. I got to, I know if I had any questions for you and Joe.
How many people will go to this thing?
It's just a few old people who like to get the free coffee.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, it's interesting for sure, but what could they possibly have to really talk about that they didn't talk about 3 months ago?
That's a good point.
I mean, going yearly is kind of crazy. There's not a lot that comes up within a year, but you were just there in December.
I might go again. It is. I confirmed it's March 5th, Wednesday, March 5th. Would you go if you were a local?
Possibly.
You could sit through those meetings, couldn't you?
I don't know. Maybe one just to see what it's about. But after doing it for a couple times, I don't know if I'd be super interested when they're talking about like the cost of mop heads increasing the budget for the.
That's what you do on your Monday morning meeting at work, don't you?
Yeah, so I don't want to do it for my vacation.
Mop head meetings.
Yeah,
mop head costs.
Pulling out the P&L, going through line by line.
I mean, that P&L is more interesting than your fertilizer P&L, isn't it?
That's probably a lot of truth to that. Yeah, for sure. I wouldn't mind getting my hands on one of those.
Profit and loss statements for Saratoga Springs.
Oh, that's fantastic. You'd be digging down. We'll drill down into some of these line items. What's this one here that's 6,000 over last year?
Hey, as owners, we got to keep costs down. We don't want to see these annual dues keep going up and up and up.
Start hammering the superintendent at Bay Lake. Is his salary coming out of these dues? We don't want that. Golf course is a separate entity. Keep it separate.
Carlisle Maring, he needs like 3 people. You're getting one. We can't assess our members.
And yes, I know that's not involved with the Saratoga dues, but it's funny to think about. So one of the things you wanted to talk about is the new Disney Lakeshore Lodge that was previously going to be called Reflections, but now it's Disney Lakeshore Lodge.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like they have the designs for the lodge include a pool complex, and it looks like it's going to have a very large feature pool with a lazy river.
Yeah, does that not look beautiful?
So hearkening back to the River Country dude.
River Country.
That was not the song. That was Water Country in New Hampshire. You were just singing that song.
Oh, that's right.
That's still there.
That's right.
For all you New England listeners, Water Country, have some fun. It's definitely interesting. So you can check it out. There's some websites that have some pictures of the plans, and you can see the blue areas of the resort. And it definitely looks like a lazy river with a big pool and then like another smaller pool connected to the lazy river. There's a quiet pool as well. One thing that catches my eye here, if you look at the red, do you have this up, Mike? You looking at it
Yeah.
now, or
Yeah, I got it up. Yep.
it looks like they're gonna have some cabins, kind of like Wilderness Lodge, along
Yeah,
the
out on the
water's
water.
edge.
Yeah.
Actually, on both sides. It's hard to tell how big it is, how many rooms it's gonna be, but it looks like it's gonna be pretty.
It's gonna be enormous because they said it's like 9 change.
Yeah.
And I heard rumors too that this was gonna be kind of a 50-50 cash and DVC. So it wasn't gonna
Oh, okay.
be a primary DVC resort.
That was the original plan.
So we don't know if that's gonna be the case with this new one. I would
Yeah.
assume it would be, but
Yeah, it says the original plan called for around 900 units, a combination of DVC and hotel rooms. Disney has not confirmed if it's going to be a mixture of cash hotel rooms and villas or if it's going to be all DVC. And the tower that they're building will be up to 12 stories. So that's going to be a big tower along that water there. But it's definitely cool taking advantage of it being up against the waterfront and
Yeah.
having the pool looking out onto the water is really cool. And those little bungalow or cabins or whatever they're going to be, those are going to be some highly sought after rooms, I would imagine, akin to those cabins at Boulder Ridge or Copper Creek, I should say. Which I'm still jealous Joe got to stay there. The Copper Creek cabins. Those things mess me up more than anything.
yeah, it wasn't like he got to stay there. It was more like he had to.
He had to, yeah.
He had to. That's what was amazing about that.
That's a good problem to have, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. So
Now-
what's your I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to probably ask you the same thing. Obviously, the pool and the water features are a huge part of these resorts and DVC. And we were talking a little bit earlier about how it seems like Disney's having trouble selling the cabins at Fort Wilderness. This is on the same footprint. I assume, and we don't know, we're just guessing, they're going to fold this into the same association with the
Absolutely. They're absolutely gonna fold it into the same association. Because I think one of the biggest reasons that these cabins aren't selling is because of the annual dues. I mean, they're basically Vero Beach annual dues.
on a brand new, on brand
And
new.
granted, they can't refurb these cabins. They're just gonna have to every 14 years just completely replace it. So I understand the costs associated with it. Plus hurricanes. These aren't gonna withstand these winds like your high-rise towers. So I understand all the costs associated with that, but it just
Sure.
if I'm buying new, I do not want to take on $11,
$13
$12,
dues.
$13 annual dues. So I think this is going to offset the annual dues, and
Yeah.
I think it's going to be an attractive property if you're combining the two. I think the plans that I'm seeing right now looks just beautiful.
The location is the proximity is very close, obviously.
Yep.
It's a good location. You could still take ferries over to Magic Kingdom.
They're gonna have that walking path open back up to Wilderness Lodge, so you're gonna be able to
Okay.
walk from resort to resort, which
Which is really nice.
it really is.
And I assume they're going to put some nicer restaurants in this resort. So that kind of solves two of the problems that the cabins have is one, the dues that you mentioned, and the amenities.
Yeah.
You're getting no real amenities of a deluxe if you own at the cabins. You get no pool. No feature pool.
Yeah, that's right.
And you have no signature or really any sit-down restaurants. You have Hoop-de-Doo Review, but outside of that, you don't really have any good restaurants, or lounges that are.
And those cabins are really tailored to such a specific type.
Oh yeah,
They're great. I love them because they're great to bring a dog.
That's their biggest selling point right
So of
now is that
course
you
it
can
is. The
bring your dog.
DVC needed a property where the locals, especially if 40% of DVC owners are locals, they needed desperately to have some type of property where we could bring our dog up to vacation with us.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And I mean, you still have to pay extra. What's it, $50 a night?
Yeah, it's like 60, maybe even 75, which big deal.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
it's less
cheaper
than
than
a
having a pet
dog
sitter.
sitter.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
it's interesting, and you know, Disney was pretty tight-lipped with the Poly Tower on whether it was going to be in the same association or not, basically till the last minute. So I don't expect to hear anything unless they feel like they can really bump sales of the cabins. If they let you
Yeah.
know it's going to be part of it, which
Yeah, that
would
wouldn't be
definitely work.
yeah, that would be a great sales tool if they did early on talk about it. Because if people were thinking about it, and plus we saw I mean, they lowered the annual dues this year.
Yeah, so if it keeps going down a little bit, that's another that's another selling point. You're right about that. I don't know, it looks good. I'm excited to see more about this. Lakeshore Lodge. It's going to be very different though, aesthetically compared to like Wilderness Lodge. It's not going to have that same feel.
Correct, yeah.
It's going to be more modern, not going to be as rustic looking inside. From my understanding, and I don't know, they haven't really released much concept art yet. So
I think
oh,
another reason why it's gonna be in the same association is because they're still locking out resale owners because the
right,
cabins are, are set up so that resale owners can't stay there. So there's really no reason to not have this be in the same association because it's going to have the same limitations. Only direct purchases are going to be able to stay at
that's
Fort
true.
Wilderness.
Yeah,
So
you're not opening it up to the resale people that
right,
don't
like
own
Polynesian was when you lumped it into the old Polynesian Association. So
it. Yeah,
there's really no reason to have your own. Because I think they're going to want if you have your own now. What are the cabins people not going to resale cabin isn't going to be able to stay there?
right. That wouldn't
So
make any sense. Yeah, it almost certainly is going to be combined, but you never know. We've been surprised before. Disney could throw a wrench in the plan for
they
sure.
always do, don't they?
Yeah.
You're always
Yeah.
scratching your head when you're talking about Disney.
And that would be nice if you're staying at the cabins and you can go over and use the pool, if you're
Hmm.
staying with points, and they're obviously not going to have the rest of the campground's not going to have access to the pool over there. But I wonder how much they'll be able to restrict the other amenities though, if they will at all. They don't right now really. Except the Poly Tower, they have limited people access to those overlooks and stuff. You can't.
Well, you can't get up. You have to be staying there to use the elevators. That's
Right.
how
So I
advanced
want.
that is now.
Right. I wonder if they're going to start incorporating more and more of that as they build these newer, where you
I
have to be staying there.
Yeah, those overlooks at the Poly is a lot different than a pool. I don't think many people are gonna go over to Fort Wilderness to use
Well, I'm not talking about the pool. I'm
Lakeshore.
talking about maybe lounges and restaurants. They're going to open up these restaurants,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
and then if you're staying there, you can't even eat there because a bunch of other people are trying to go.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I mean, the odds of that are low, and they're not really in the business of making exclusive restaurants. Every restaurant's open to everybody right now,
Right.
so I can't imagine they'll do that. But I could see them doing it with lounges because they've done that a little bit with the top of the world, where you have to be either staying on points or
Right.
staying there to use it. We'll see what happens. Any other thoughts on the Lakeshore Lodge or anything
No, I'm
else?
looking forward to it. I love new DVC properties, and I think they've been doing great jobs. I think they've always done a good job, but I think all the new properties that are opening up, all the new refurbishments we've talked about in the past,
Mm-hmm.
They're doing a great job. So I think they're going to knock this one out of the park, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about it. Like, there's literally no concept art out there that I've seen. Just like a picture of the outside. There's no.
Yeah, it's just so new and raw right now. So
Yeah. Have they
that was,
even officially announced that it's happening, or is this still
yeah, I
all
think they
just
did. No, I think they have
okay?
announced, and I kind of knew a while ago.
Well, there were a lot of rumors because of the permits and stuff like that that were out
Yeah,
there that people
there were permits, and I was asked by somebody what's going on over here, and it was a non-disclosure type of deal, so I didn't say anything. But I was 100% sure that they were gonna reintroduce this property about a year ago. So
Yeah. And it says by 2027, so we're at least 2 years off, if not more. It
yeah,
could be
two
like
and a half. I
December
mean, we
30th,
could be
20.
close to 3. Yeah, you're close to 2 and 10 months.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's just like the Poly Tower where they're
Yeah,
scrambling to open it by the end of the
these
year.
quick, don't they?
What's that?
They open these things quick.
Yeah.
They
Well,
did Epcot in like 6 months, and then now whenever they refurbish a ride, it takes them 15, 20 years. But they're able to open up these resorts quickly, aren't they?
yeah, that's true. They make a lot more money out of selling hotel rooms than they
They
do out of
certainly do.
letting people go on Remy's Ratatouille Adventure.
They're already at the park anyways. They're already paid. What do they need
Yeah,
to go on another dopey ride for? We got their
that's
money.
true. Yeah, exactly. All right, I don't have anything else to add.
All right. Then bring us home. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at DVC Addicts. You can email the show info@addictedtodvc.com and join our Facebook group, DVC Addicts. For my cousin and co-host Gary in Rhode Island, I'm Mike in Florida. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you again next week.
Thank you for listening to the Addicted to DVC podcast with Mike and Gary. We want to hear from you. Email us at info@addictedtodvc.com and follow us on all socials at DVC Addicts. We appreciate you being a part of our DVC community, and we'll see you again on our next episode. Thanks again for listening, and welcome home.